A Purple Heart is one of the greatest recognitions a veteran can receive. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Maria Lizignoli. And almost 20 years after being hurt in combat, a Wisconsin veteran was presented with a Purple Heart by Senator Tammy Baldwin and her family. NBC 15's Cameron Kelly joining us in the studio. Cameron, the Purple Heart is the oldest award given to U.S. military members.
And after the long wait, Rebecca Litscher finally received her special moment. Her family shares why she's deserving of the Purple Heart. After getting hurt in combat during the Iraq War, Rebecca Litscher finally received her Purple Heart.
It feels good to be validated for the injuries I incurred during my military service.
In 2003, Rebecca says her and other soldiers were told that they would be awarded the Purple Heart, but nothing moved forward. Rebecca's husband, Nathan, went to a military reunion with her and learned more about what happened during the war.
The more I learned about the attack, the more it became clear to me that it was, she was deserving of it.
Yeah.
He reached out to Senator Tammy Baldwin's office for help.
The Purple Heart is also known as the medal that no one ever tries to earn.
Nathan believes this long-awaited honor is special for his family.
For these kids, they've always known that their mother's a hero, but like now I hope today kind of makes it more tangible for them to carry this memory going forward.
The Purple Heart reminds Rebecca of resilience, camaraderie, and sacrifice.
This steered me into my career as a fitness professional and ultimately to owning my own fitness facility here in town. I am proud to say that I have made a career out of helping others in their own fitness journeys and recoveries.
Rebecca has been out of the military for 13 years and says today brought lots of emotion for family and veterans. Live in the studio, Cameron Kelly, NBC 15 News.